What's up, everybody? Michael Silva here. Today's video is titled, Are Cannabis Stocks Gearing Up for Another Rally? Will we see another rally here in 2021? Well, this video is all about preparing for a rally if it does occur. We want to be ahead of the curve, just like I was in January when I notified to my followers about this. Take a look at this ETF, ticker symbol MJ. This right here is forming a bottoming type pattern on the weekly time frame. You're putting in higher lows, which is a positive sign. You're seeing the RSI strengthening here. You're seeing volume being accumulated here. This ascending triangle pattern that we're in, yeah, we might see it pull down a little bit more. Even if we get down to this green support, it can offer up a very good buying opportunity with a very good risk versus reward. Make sure you have a stop loss below this green line and then play it for a breakout of the red resistance. As you can see from that notification here in early 2021, we saw up to 139% increase in the ticker symbol MJ, which is a widely tracked alternative harvest ETF here. And you can see since that point it has been pulled back, still around up 60% and now consolidating sideways. So in today's video, we are going to be looking at some technical levels and create a game plan for what might take place next if certain key levels are broken. Let's go ahead and get into today's show. I want to show you what to avoid if you are planning on investing in cannabis stocks, pot stocks, weed stocks. I have here a screenshot from Google Trends, and notice how, I posted that video that you just recently watched, that clip, January. I posted that January 8th, I believe it was, well before February 11th. And what I want to say when things get a little too late is if you just take a look at Google Trends and you look at cannabis stocks, pot stocks, weed stocks, etc., notice how the search interest on this really expanded early February. So February 11th, we saw a spike in all of these search terms. Now, this is typically people that are coming in late to the party. So to give you a better visualization, if you're coming in late to the party, what that looks like from a technical perspective, notice the day here, February 11th. This is ticker symbol MJ. Notice how with this increased amount of volume and this hanging man type candle, we saw, a lot of people search for what stocks to get into, but it just so happened to be at a time when you shouldn't have been getting into those stocks. So we got this massive move to the upside, then all of a sudden it attracted attention. You can see that in the Google Trends, and then they got smashed to the downside. So a lot of people that were searching for good setups in certain individual stocks at its peak there in 2021 got burned. So understand the psychology and makeup of what's going on currently right now. And this wasn't just ticker symbol MJ. We can look at ACB. You can see it's very similar type look. You can look at CGC. This is Canopy Growth. You can look at APHA, same exact thing, and then Tilray as well. So these are very volatile stocks, and it's our responsibility here to look for key levels to see when they break to the upside, we can capture in some momentum if that is the case. All right, now it's time to get into the technical aspect, the stuff that gives us more confidence entering into a specific trade. Now, there's various ways that you can play this if we do get breaks of key levels, which we'll be going over. You can buy into ETFs, you can buy individual stocks, you can even go into the penny stock market, which a lot of people, there's been a lot of boom around that as of recently. Now there's more risk with that, but there's a lot of, more upside potential too as well if you know what to look for. The sponsor of today's episode is BVNNF, and I'll be going through their company, which is traded ticker symbol BEV on the Canadian Stock Exchange, but then also in the US market, OTC market, it's traded under BVNNF, and it is actually quite a cool company, and it does look very similar to the charts that we'll be going over. So there's a strong possibility for some big movements in these companies, but let's look at the key levels right now. We're going to start off with ticker symbol MJ, and notice here in February, yes, we saw this big drawdown. This is normal. Look at the trend, okay? The 50 sloping up, the 200 sloping up, and now we're getting some distribution here. You can see that it's kind of just going in and out, and the moving averages, the shorter term moving averages, are kind of flattening out. By short term moving averages, I mean the 5, the 10, and the 20. So short to intermediate term. Notice this is a key level right here. So it held the 50 period moving average. So that is a good sign. The trend is nice. Where do we need to break in order to feel more confident that there's upside in this cannabis sector? 61.8% retracement level right here. That's $25.42. You can just say $26, but a confirmed break of that number, a closing daily candle with some good volume, can give me the confidence that, hey, we might see some upside moves. And we'll get into a seasonality chart here very soon in the healthcare sector. I've shown this on various other videos, but April, it could be a very, very good setup to see some big moves. And this sector can be just preparing itself for April here. Now, from a weekly perspective, I've already showed you this chart, this bottoming pattern that I called out in January, and really since the Biden administration took place here in 2021, marijuana stocks, cannabis stocks, pot stocks, whatever you want to call them, have been seeing some tremendous growth. And it's normal to see a pullback. Look at, like, when you see the price go super high, guess what? There's going to be some sellers that take profits, especially when you see a run up of 130%, and we're still up like almost 60% on the year. Now, what's a key level on the weekly time frame? We're above the 200 period moving average. It would be nice to hold that level. We saw a big green candle the prior week, and now we're seeing a little bit of indecision right now, but the week is not fully over. It's March 17th, so it's a Wednesday, so we still have more time here. Moving averages all pointing up at this particular point in time. So to me, this still looks good. It was a solid breakout. We had almost retested it perfectly, didn't quite get there. So maybe perhaps we do head a little bit lower, but if we hold these key levels here, that's a good sign, especially if we get that break on the daily time frame. The next one that we're going to have to keep a close eye on is ticker symbol MSOS. This is Advisor Shares. Pure US Cannabis ETF. All right, so I feel strongly that if we start breaking this downtrend, notice here in February, we've been taking a period of consolidation, but look at the trend. It is absolutely beautiful so far. We have the 20 sloping nicely, the 50 sloping nicely, and now it's taking a period of consolidation. And take a look at this resistance trend line that I put right here. So we came into the 50 period. It's holding there as support so far. The price percent oscillator looks like it wants to start crossing back above zero. That would be a bullish crossover. And then if we get the small term moving averages to cross above the 20, so we have them stacked. So it goes 5, 10, 20, 50, 200 down below us, we don't see it. That would be a good sign, and that could be the start of another leg higher here in MSOS. And this is, like I said, these are ETFs, so they hold basket of stocks. So if you wanted to trade individual names, that could be a good area to look for individual setups. Or you can even go into penny stocks or, dollar less stocks, and maybe perhaps some of that volume and that, enthusiasm that we saw in the very first chart of the day that I went over, this chart, this might take place again, really pushing some certain names up and higher. Now, obviously, you need to pay very close attention to risk. You never want to over leverage yourself in any one position, and you don't want to get too overextended in any one position. So be very diligent here. Now, from a seasonality perspective, I'm looking at the healthcare seasonality perspective. So stocks, for example, like Canopy Growth or, these individual stock names fall within typically the healthcare sector under pharmaceuticals. And I just pulled up this equityclock.com chart looking at seasonality, a 20-year range. And from this perspective, it looks like, just look here, in February to mid-February, you see a pretty big drawdown in the healthcare sector. But towards the end of March into April, you see some pretty big moves to the upside. Now, this is interesting. Why is it interesting? Pay attention to February heading down into March. We're going to go back to ticker symbol MJ. Look at right here, February into March. You're seeing that drawdown. So what we very may well see is, if seasonality holds true, April, we can see some pretty strong momentum to the upside, and that could set up good setups for individual stocks and individual names. That is what my eyes are on. The key levels to look out for that I'm using as kind of a gauge in the sector is on the daily time frame for MJ. I want a close, maybe a couple daily closes with good volume above this level, 25.50, I'm going to call it. Okay, and then also I want to see the 200 on the weekly time frame continue to hold. That would be a good sign for me from a weekly perspective. And then ticker symbol MSOS, another ETF here. I want to see a bullish crossover, and I want to see it get above this resistance trend line with some strong volume. If that all goes into play here heading into April, I'm going to be feeling very confident about the cannabis sector setting itself up for another rally. This here is ticker symbol BVNNF. This is BevCanna Enterprises. And this is a very unique company. They are sponsoring today's episode, so I am being compensated to talk about them. I do not have my own personal money in this company as of right now, but I am, like I said, waiting for some key levels to break to move into the cannabis sector. And I took this sponsor because it is a very cool company based out of Canada that makes sales here also in the United States. From a technical perspective, we're in this distribution phase where you can see the moving averages going sideways here. And we're right now currently below these intermediate to short-term moving averages, the 50, the 20, the 10, and the 5, but we're relatively flat. So I do feel this is very similar to what we've seen in the other charts, but if we break above around this 85 to 90 cent range, and also in the other various charts that we already previously discussed, that could set us up for also a good rally here in one of these lower price stocks. Now, there's a lot of risk involved with trading these small cap stocks, but there's also, while there's a lot of risk, there can be a lot of potential reward. You can see here in February, they also saw that monster rally just alongside of all those big names as well. This is BevCanna's website. Now, this company, as already stated, they operate in both Canada and in the United States. They have both online e-commerce platforms and a massive retail distribution network, which we'll get into here. In recent news, the completion of its transformative acquisition of Naturo Group and receipt of its Health Canada standard processing license, BevCanna is in a unique position to be one of the fully licensed in-house white label beverage manufacturing companies that distributes both conventional and cannabinoid-based beverage and wellness products. BevCanna owns a pristine alkaline spring water aquifer and a world-class, as you can see here on their website, 40,000 square foot HACCP certified manufacturing facility with a bottling capacity of 210 million bottles annually. Here is the team leading the charge for BevCanna. Decades of experience creating, manufacturing, and distributing iconic brands. You can see some big names here of companies that these individuals have worked for. Now, the Keef Brands team recognized this deep expertise and actually ended up taking an equity position in BevCanna back in December. Now, you may have heard of Keef. That is a big brand right there. Now, this partnership will allow BevCanna to be really poised for rapid growth in the U.S. recreational cannabis market through this strategic alliance. This is a #1 cannabis beverage company in the United States. This is Keef Brands. They're known for their cannabis-infused drinks. Keef Brands currently offers 8 of the top 10 selling cannabis beverages in Colorado, as well as 2 of the top 10 selling ones in California. Keef Brands also ranks first in the US both in units and dollars sold among cannabis beverage companies. Now, according to the agreement, BevCanna will act as the exclusive licensee, manufacturing, and distribution partner to the award-winning US line of Keef-infused beverages for the Canadian market. They also entered into an exclusive joint venture with the prominent US vape and high-end extracts company Bloom to cover both the Canadian and US markets. Now, this is deeply rooted in California. Bloom is consistently one of the top vape brands across multiple major US recreational and medical markets. A known premium brand, Bloom is a winner of the Chalice Cup and Cannabis Cup awards for both the quality and popularity for their distillate and proprietary strains. Now, this product is sold under the Cali Bloom name with the Bloom brand beverages in North America, but it's to be manufactured by BevCanna. BevCanna also recently acquired a natural health and wellness e-commerce retailer known as Pure Therapy in September of 2020. And this is a direct-to-consumer e-commerce company that sells a range of natural health products, including nutraceutical and hemp-based products throughout North America and Western Europe. Now, this acquisition provides BevCanna with just a proven e-commerce brand and platform to further expand and launch its own proprietary products directly into the US and global health and wellness market. The company forecasts gross revenue of 7.28 Canadian with positive EBITDA in 2021 for Pure Therapy. Overall, the current mix of subscription-based and traditional sales revenue will provide a strong reoccurring revenue stream for BevCanna. BevCanna also directly owns one of Naturo Group's most valuable assets, their exclusive on-site alkaline spring water source, independently valued at $18 million. Now, on top of that, BevCanna also owns their flagship brand known as Trace, and that currently enjoys a leadership position in the Canadian plant-based fulvic and humic mineral category and is sold in more than 3,000 Canadian retailers, with select international agreements and partnerships under review. Now, as water resources become increasingly scarce, BevCanna expects that the proprietary on-site alkaline spring water source will contribute to a strengthened balance sheet and to BevCanna's unique positioning with the burgeoning plant-based and cannabis sectors. Now, just by itself, the Trace acquisition adds tremendous value to the company, along with their nationally distributed plant-based mineral beverages and nutraceuticals, as well as alkaline and sparkling waters. Trace is expanding its product selection to include additional nutraceutical formats and additional consumer products to be sold in domestic and international markets. So with these proprietary formulations, Trace plant-based mineral beverages are sourced from the highest quality alkaline spring water in British Columbia, interior of Canada, thus allowing these beverages to be featured next to premium enhanced spring water brands such as Fiji, Smart Water, and Evian. Now, this is some pretty good timing for BevCanna to acquire the Trace brand, as the bottled water market is valued more than 20 billion Canadian dollars in North America alone, and the enhanced premium spring water category continues to expand quickly, with about 62% in the last 2 years. All right, just to recap here, BevCanna, it does seem like a really strong emerging leader in this specific industry. They have a very high quality team that has a lot of experience working with various brands. They're acquiring some very good brands and partnering with them as well, such as Keef and the other various ones that we went over. And also their concepts are diverse and appeal to a wide range of customers. I'm excited to see the continued growth around this cannabis-infused spring water. If you want to learn more about BevCanna, please do your own research. I'm going to link their website in the description below, as well as their ticker symbols that they trade off of, and this investor deck, so you can take a look at it for yourself.